God is trying to reach you. 5 minutes left. You must stop this as soon as possible. This is about the home you are living in. No, not the walls, not the bricks or the windows, but the home inside you, the space where your thoughts rest at night, the place your spirit calls its own. Something has been stirring there, something quiet but insistent, and if you listen closely you can almost hear it, a gentle knocking, patient but urgent. It is not destruction that waits at the door, it is awakening. The voice calling out is not angry but aching, longing to be heard before another day passes in silence. You have felt the restlessness, the strange emptiness that sits behind every laugh, the heaviness that lingers after every accomplishment. You keep moving, hoping that movement itself will drown the noise inside, but the knocking continues. 5 minutes left, it whispers, not a threat, but a reminder that time, once gone, cannot be reclaimed. Life is precious, fleeting, sacred. The invitation is now, not later, not someday. God is trying to reach you, and what He wants is simple, to help you cleanse the home within, to sweep away the dust of bitterness, fear, and regret, to make room for peace to live there again. Inside every heart there are rooms we rarely enter. There's the room of old memories, still cluttered with pain we never released. There's the hallway of doubt, where questions echo endlessly without answers. There's the cellar of guilt, where we hide what we don't want others, or even ourselves, to see. And yet, God stands at the doorway of that inner house, patient, lamp in hand, saying, "Let me in. Let me bring light." But we hesitate. We tell ourselves the house isn't ready, that the mess is too great. We promise to clean first, to fix the broken parts, to be better, before we open the door. And still the knocking continues, gentle but persistent, a rhythm that matches the beating of our hearts. The message is not about fear, it's about love moving urgently. When love sees pain, it does not wait politely in the distance. When love knows the house is dark, it brings a lamp and calls out until someone answers. God's urgency is born of compassion. He sees how the clutter of worry steals your sleep, how the noise of comparison dulls your joy, how the locked rooms of your soul keep you from breathing freely. He is not coming to condemn the mess, He is coming to help you clean it. 5 minutes left. The phrase lingers not because something dreadful is about to happen, but because the heart can only hold neglect for so long before it grows cold. The light in you was meant to burn bright, not flicker beneath layers of distraction. When you finally pause, when you finally turn the handle and open the door, you discover that the one who waited outside has been carrying warmth all along. Imagine your life as that house. Each thought is a room, each memory a window, each hope a door waiting to be opened. Now imagine walking through it with God beside you. You open the door to the room of worry, and He whispers, "You don't need to carry this anymore." You open the door to the room of anger, and He says, let's wash this clean together. You open the door to the room of fear, and his light fills it until the shadows dissolve. That is what the message means. It is not about walls or danger, it is about healing. It is about giving the divine a place to rest within you, so that peace can dwell in every corner of your being. The urgency is simply this: do not wait to start living in that peace. Do not postpone the quiet joy of being whole. So stop, just for a moment. Breathe. Listen. The knocking has not stopped. It never will, because the one who calls you loves you too much to walk away. The home you are living in, the one made of heart, mind, and spirit, was always meant to shine. When you finally pause long enough to listen, the world seems to hush. The noise that usually fills every moment fades into the background, and in the quiet you realize how weary you've become from keeping everything under control. You have built walls to feel safe, but they have also kept out peace. And there, in that silence, the same voice that has been calling all along whispers again, "Let me in." At first, the words feel too simple. Could opening your heart really change anything? Could stillness accomplish what striving never could? Yet something in you softens. You walk to the door of your soul, that inner threshold you've avoided for so long. The handle feels familiar, almost warm, as if a gentle hand has been resting there from the beginning. When you turn it, a faint glow spills across the floor. It isn't blinding or dramatic, it's calm, steady, alive. You hesitate, and the voice speaks once more, *, you don't have to clean first. You don't have to fix what is broken before you let me in. I already know every corner, every crack. I've come to help you restore this place, *. Something in those words disarms you. For the first time in a long while, the pressure to perform fades away. You realize that the one who waits at your door is not there to inspect but to inhabit, not to scold but to soothe. You step aside, and the light moves in. The air in the room changes. It's as though the whole house takes a deep breath. Dust that once hung thick begins to settle, and the heaviness in your chest lifts. You notice things you hadn't seen before, the quiet beauty in the ordinary, the hidden strength beneath your weariness. The light reveals everything, but instead of shame, you feel relief. God walks with you through the rooms of your inner house. In one corner lies disappointment, plans that never bloomed, prayers that seemed unanswered. You brace yourself for judgment, but instead, he kneels and gently sweeps away the dust. Even this, he says softly, *, has purpose. Nothing you've lived is wasted when you hand it to me, *. In another room, memories clutter the floor, words you wish you hadn't spoken, moments you wish you could reclaim. He picks up each fragment and holds it tenderly. Forgiveness lives here now, he says. What once hurt you will one day teach you how to heal others. You move on, opening doors one by one, each revealing a different part of your story. There is laughter still echoing in the walls, there are tears dried into the wood, and there are corners that still feel cold. Through it all, the same light fills every space. There is no rush, no list of demands, only presence, steady, kind, unhurried. The voice speaks again, asterisk, this house is your heart, and it was built to be my dwelling. You don't need to chase me in the clouds or find me in distant places. I have always been here, waiting for you to notice. Every time you love, every time you forgive, every time you choose kindness over anger, you rebuild this home with me, asterisk. You stop in the center of your inner home and breathe. The warmth that surrounds you isn't outside anymore, it's within. For a long time, you thought faith meant searching far away, but now you see it's about allowing the sacred to live where you already are. Outside, the world continues with its noise and motion. Inside, time seems to slow, and you realize that the phrase, 5 minutes left, was never about clocks or endings, it was about awareness. It was about realizing that every moment you delay opening the door is a moment peace waits unreceived. You smile because, at last, you've answered. You begin to speak, quietly at first, stay. The word feels new on your tongue. You repeat it, louder, stay. And the answer comes instantly, warm and sure, I never left. In that instant you understand that what leaves is not God but attention. Presence was always here, it is we who wander. But now that your heart has opened, you see how easily light fills space once the door is unlatched. The rooms continue to brighten. Hope, long buried beneath years of fatigue, rises like morning light. Gratitude spreads through you until it feels as though the walls themselves are breathing. You realize that this inner home can hold joy again. It can host laughter. It can welcome rest. You look toward the doorway where the light first entered. It is wider now, and beyond it stretches something vast and alive, the world as it truly is when seen through healed eyes. You understand that the real work begins here, to keep the door open, to tend the home daily, to invite the light into new corners whenever shadows return. And the voice, gentle as the first breeze after rain, whispers once more, asterisk, you've done what I asked. You stopped. You listened. You opened the door. The home you live in is alive again, asterisk. You close your eyes, resting in that peace, feeling the truth of it settle deep within you. The knocking has ceased because there is no more door between you and the light. There is only presence, only warmth, only love quietly filling every room. When light finally fills the house, something remarkable begins to happen. It doesn't stop at the walls, it seeps through them. It slips under the door and out the windows, spreading softly into the world beyond. The same way the sunrise pushes gently against the horizon, the peace within you starts touching the lives around you. You notice it first in small ways. The sharp edge in your voice softens. The hurried words you used to throw into the world slow down, gaining weight and warmth. Where irritation once rose quickly, patience now breathes instead. You find yourself listening more, speaking less, choosing kindness where once you might have chosen silence or defense. You realize that the inner rooms you open to God are beginning to mirror themselves in the outer world. People sense it. They can't always name it, but they feel calmer in your presence. They begin to lean toward you the way flowers lean toward light. You aren't trying to impress anyone, you simply carry peace, and peace has its own gravity. This is what the divine does. When it is welcomed into one heart, it longs to reach another. The home inside you becomes a lamp placed on a hill, and its glow spills naturally into darkened streets. Every gentle word, every act of forgiveness, every quiet prayer is another window thrown open. God's voice returns, not booming, not demanding, but steady, near. This is how I move in the world, child. Through hearts that make room for me. You think back to the beginning, to the knocking that once felt almost frightening. You realize now it was never meant to scare you, it was meant to wake you. The urgency wasn't about catastrophe, it was about invitation. Every minute that you live disconnected from love is a minute that could have been full of peace. That was the 5-minute warning, not doom, but hope calling before it's too late to notice the beauty of this moment. Now, as you live from this awakened place, you start to see your surroundings differently. The home you physically live in, the walls, the rooms, the familiar corners, begin to echo what happened inside. You find yourself tidying, not out of restlessness but reverence. You light a candle not just for scent but for symbolism. The air seems clearer because you are breathing differently. Even the quiet feels alive. And in that stillness, you begin to understand that every home is holy when it shelters love. The roof becomes a sanctuary, the kitchen an altar of nourishment, the doorway a threshold of welcome. Where once anxiety used to linger like dust, laughter begins to live again. The voice speaks gently. This is the restoration I promised. Not perfection, but presence. Not grand gestures, but a steady light that never burns out. You think of others whose homes, inner and outer, still stand in shadow. You feel a tug to reach them, not with speeches, but with the same kind patience that reached you. You start by listening. You bring compassion instead of correction. You learn that sometimes the best sermon is simply to sit beside someone until their own door creaks open a little. And you keep learning. Some days the light seems dim again, old fears whisper through the halls. But now you know what to do. Stop, breathe, open the door again. The practice becomes a rhythm, a heartbeat of trust. You no longer fear the quiet because you have met love there. Soon the phrase that once startled you, God is trying to reach you, becomes your comfort. You understand that God is always reaching, not from afar but from within, reminding you of what you already carry. The knocking never truly ends, it changes its sound. It becomes the pulse of compassion in your chest, the spark of creativity in your work, the patience you show when you could give up. Everywhere you go, you take the home with you. In crowded rooms and empty streets, in laughter and in loss, you carry that sanctuary. You begin to see that the 5 minutes were symbolic of every precious chance to choose presence over distraction, tenderness over indifference. Each time you choose love, you buy back another minute. The voice speaks again, closer than breath, * keep this door open, and I will dwell with you always. Wherever you go, my home goes too, *. You smile because now you know what it means to live as a home for the divine. The walls of your heart are not barriers anymore, they are open windows through which light can pass. The world outside may still twist and tremble, but inside, the lamp burns steady. The light in you touches another. Then another. Houses on the street of humanity begin to glow, one by one, until what once was darkness becomes a soft horizon of gold. You understand then that what began as a warning was really a beginning. The message wasn't about endings at all, it was about remembering that love is urgent, because life is short. And every moment you live in awareness of that truth, every moment you let light move through you, the world becomes a little warmer, a little safer, a little more like home. Now, at last, you understand the depth of what was being asked of you all along. The urgency, the knocking, the 5 minutes left, it was never about fear. It was about awakening. It was about love. It was about remembering who you truly are and the home you were meant to carry within yourself. God's call was never a threat, it was an invitation to life, a summons to peace, and a chance to restore the sacred dwelling of your heart. You look around and see that everything has changed. The rooms that once felt heavy now breathe. The corners that once held dust and shadows now shine with light. The floorboards that creaked under the weight of anxiety now carry the rhythm of calm. The home inside you is alive, vibrant, and filled with the warmth of presence. You realize that it has never been about perfection. It has always been about willingness. Willingness to open the door, to let light in, to invite love to dwell freely without fear or hesitation. God's voice comes again, tender and overflowing with joy, * you have opened the door, my beloved. You have stopped. You have listened. You have let me in. This home, your heart, will never be the same again. The light that flows here will now touch everything you do, everything you think, everything you are. Wherever you go, you carry sanctuary. Wherever you move, love follows. This is your gift, your calling, your sacred place, *. And you feel it, not as a concept, but as a living truth pulsing through every fiber of your being. The peace that settles over you is not fleeting. It is not fragile. It is steady, unshakable, and eternal. You have discovered what the knocking was always pointing to, that true safety, true comfort, true joy does not come from the walls around you, from possessions, from the praise of others, or from fleeting successes. It comes from the presence that fills your heart, that walks with you silently, that lights every corner, that softens the hardest edges. You remember the fear you once felt, the thought that 5 minutes could run out, that opportunity could vanish. And now you see clearly that the real urgency was not about time on a clock, it was about the moments in which you could choose awareness, choose presence, choose love. Each time you listened, each time you opened the door, you reclaimed a little more of life that had been slipping past unnoticed. Each time you allowed light to enter, you gave birth to peace in the world around you. The outer world begins to mirror what has happened inside. Rooms you inhabit physically feel lighter. The home you live in is no longer just a shelter, it is a reflection of the sanctuary within. You breathe differently. You move differently. You speak with gentleness, act with patience, and carry the quiet joy that only comes from a heart that has been restored. Even the smallest details, the smell of the air, the warmth of the sunlight, the sound of footsteps on the floor, remind you that life itself is sacred, because it carries the touch of divine love. And as you look at the people around you, you see the subtle ways your transformation touches them. A smile shared, a hand held, a kind word whispered, they are all ripples of the light you welcomed into your heart. You realize then that God's work was never confined to your interior. By tending your inner home, by allowing love and presence to dwell there, you have created a lamp for others to find their own doors, to let light in for themselves. What began as a quiet awakening has become a quiet revolution, changing the world one heartbeat at a time. God speaks again, softly, so that you feel it more than hear it. Remember this always, I am present, I am patient, I am here. The knocking may come in whispers or in sudden urgencies, but it is always for life, always for restoration, always for love. Keep the doors open, my beloved. Tend the home within you. Walk in light, walk in peace, walk in presence. And wherever you go, carry this home as your gift to the world. You close your eyes and take a deep breath, letting it fill every part of you. You realize that the home inside you is more than walls and rooms, it is the sanctuary of your soul. You understand now that love and presence are not things you find outside, they are the light that comes when you open the doors of your own heart. You smile because the fear has passed, because the urgency has transformed into calm, and because the home within you is finally alive. And so, you live differently. You live with attention, with gratitude, with joy. You carry peace wherever you go. You are aware of the gentle, constant presence that never leaves. You know the truth, the knocking will always come, but now you answer immediately. You have learned that life is best lived in awareness, in love, and in the quiet, steady light that fills the home within. And in that home, you know, God has never truly left.